Not much headway, if any at all, in that continued standoff between the Public Hospitals Authority and the Consultant Physician Staff Association. In fact, CPSA President Dr. Loxley Munro is dismissing this morning's meeting as a total waste of time.
CHA called this meeting this morning to say, let us resolve the issue and go back to providing care for people. So despite all the turnaround, the CPSA, we took the time and went back to the meeting. As soon as we got to the meeting, the chairman, Mr. Julian Roll, he said, "We're not talking to you while you all are in emergency mode only. You all must come out in emergency mode, otherwise we ain't talking to you." So immediately when he said that, the question is raised, are you suggesting that we do not have constitutional rights?
Dr. Munro says the PHA must understand this is not a joking matter.
They have to understand that the resolution is not a one-sided thing. And we are more than willing to go back to the table as long as they're coming to the table, not with excuses. We offer enough excuses to patients when we can't deliver services as it stands. And part of those excuses are that this place is not run the way it ought to be run, including managing your manpower the way it ought to be managed.
The CPSA president said as for future meetings, there are no plans to sit and talk with Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands, who he claims sidelined them last year after basically telling the doctors that nurses were more important.
Today, I guess somebody informed him about the outcome of the meeting, so he sent a message that he would like to meet with us tomorrow. And the return communication was, having met with you on 2 previous occasions, what is the point of meeting for a third time unless we have confirmed, committed, concrete, signed off on document that says, okay guys, here's what the position is. So until we can do that, I don't think we're going to need to.
The CPSA withdrew its services on Tuesday, forcing the Princess Margaret Hospital to activate its Emergency Operations Center. Following the cries of teachers at the C.H. Reeves Junior High School to take a strike poll over mold issues at that school's campus, Education Director Marcellus Taylor says that he is concerned about the teachers taking that bold step to strike.
Well, I do have concerns about it simply because what we've seen happen so far, a lot of it has been illegal activity. There's a process involved in expressing your grievance, and unfortunately, teachers haven't utilized the agreed protocols around that. So we do have concerns about it. Do we think it would be something that should happen based on all the efforts that we are making? No, we don't think it should happen. But we'll have to see.
Now, so far, students have lost some 50,000 learning hours, and Mr. Taylor says that if teachers do move forward with a strike, the effect would be devastating for the students.
The department would be not only saddened by it, we would be, making all efforts to try to see what we can do. The truth is that we are limited. We don't have a pool of teachers just sitting around waiting for us to call them in if some teachers decide to withdraw their labor. But of course, if they take whatever actions they take, then we'll have to do what we have to do to, first and foremost, ensure that students coming to school are safe. Secondly, try to provide them with some form of education in the interim. And then thirdly, deal with the human resource matters as we can.
The education director added that the ministry met with the union just yesterday and anticipates that this situation will come to a smooth end. He gave this update to the media.
On the 9th of this month, we had a meeting with the union, and at that time we made a point clear that we expected the teachers to return to work. But we also made some commitments that we would address certain matters. And so what we did in that meeting yesterday was to provide an update on where we are with all of the developments.
Meantime, Mr. Taylor says the department is doing everything they can to make that school safe and comfortable. In other news this evening, the number of people who have fallen behind paying their electricity bill and have consequently had their power cut off is in the thousands, a matter Works Minister Desmond Bannister says warrants serious concern. An island-by-island look at the figures show that in Apico, there were 58 customers with a total balance of $64,822 owed to BPL. In Acklands, 14 customers are off the grid after a balance of $36,353. In Bimini, the number of disconnected BPL consumers sit at 85. The balance there, $136,040. In Cat Island, 66 customers and the balance $34,342. Over in Central Andros, there's every indication there that it's 166 customers. That translated into $153,458. Crooked Island, 6 on the books, $13,265.
In Lelusa, 88. Balance of $113,778.75. In Exona, 14. With a balance of $8,180.85. In Great Albuquerque, there were 11. $9,349.10. In America, there were 52. $311,200.15. In Mangrove Key, there were 19. $11,840.85. In New Providence, there were 4,639, not 6,000. With a balance of $4,275,990.65.
And the list goes on for a grand total of 5,412 BPL consumers. The dollar figure, $5.3 million.
And the very real question that we as legislators and we as policymakers have to decide is what do you do about persons in that situation? Because the utility, as you see, can't afford it, and they keep up racking up more and more receivables. And then you know that the people are hurting, and they need to be able to get back on the grid to have power nowadays.
Minister Bannister strongly advises all those serious about their electricity bills to ensure energy audits are conducted. Well, despite what the upped VAT exemption and the added initiatives the government plans to adopt to reduce the price of electricity, Opposition Deputy Leader Chester Cooper insists the government hasn't thought this through. The only measure, he said, that in the short term will bring meaningful relief to BPL customers is to get at the root of the high bills, the fuel surcharge. In fact, he suggested that BPL is artificially manipulating or estimating the fuel surcharge. And here's the example he used. August and September are typically the highest demand months for BPL, with one month sometimes eclipsing the other. However, in all the years he's been paying an electricity bill, he said never has he seen the usage to be the exact same as August during September, more specifically this one. According to Mr. Cooper, before the BPL's Clifton Pier fire, the fuel surcharge was 19.15 cents, up from 17.5 cents the month before. Right around the fire and after, with more expensive fuel was reportedly being used, the fuel surcharge was still $19.15. So here's the conclusion the PLP MP has come to. Either BPL is paying more for fuel that is passing on to the consumer and capping the fuel cost at 19.15 cents, or elevating the price for some reason. BPL, he said, needs better oversight, and that should fall under IRCA. As for relief, Mr. Cooper suggests the government implements a subsidy to keep the fuel surcharge at a particular rate until that rate can naturally drop. You're watching JCN News. There's more to come when we return.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.